So I wanted to touch on a few different ways that you can help kind of support your kids' passion. I was super lucky in life to have extremely supportive parents, and I was kind of racking my brain for all the little ways and some of the larger ways that they really helped kind of support me and led me to become the drummer that I am today, I suppose. So the first thing I thought of that was so huge was allocating a space in your home for your kid to play the drums. It takes up a lot of room, you know. Electronic kits less so, but a big acoustic kit like this one, it's certainly you know, a sacrifice for you to allocate space for it. But that is truly the best thing my parents ever could have done for me. I had a room down in the basement. I could have a drum set, and I was kind of able to play the drums at any time that I wanted up until 11 p.m. and really make it my own. I think it's important when you're a kid to be able to, you know, hang the posters on the wall, some of the rudiment posters that you can get from Lon McQuaid per se, or a lot of the DVDs will come with posters that you can put on the wall, and they really help, I don't know, kind of just create a drum practice environment. So that's a massive way that you could kind of help support your kids' passion. Another super important about having that space is kind of having enough room for your kid to have friends over to jam. That's such an important part of playing music and kind of the musical conversation that starts to happen at a young age. When you have your own space and you have the ability to have your friends over and jam, it can really help kind of shape your identity as a young person. There's something really special about making music with your friends, and kind of leads me to my next point, which is try and give an encouraging word whenever you hear kind of improvement. If you have a kid and he's drumming all day and it's kind of a ear sore and I don't know, you kind of are just like, oh man, are you done yet? Like, it's so hard to listen to TV. I mean, it does suck having someone practicing drums if the house isn't kind of built for sound dampening. So it can be pretty taxing on the whole family, but it's so nice when you go upstairs and your parent is like, hey, you're sounding awesome, or you're sounding a lot better than last week, or you and the guy sounded great when you were jamming out a new tune. So that's such a important piece. And another piece to that is to show up to your kids' shows. When I was growing up, having my parents come and watch me play was so huge, whether it was at church or kind of out at a local bar or pub. I know your kids aren't gonna be playing at bars and pubs right away, but whether it's a talent show or a recital, it's so important to kind of show up and support them through the process. I know it meant a lot for me. So if you happen to be a drummer yourself, a really nice thing that you can do, if you don't already do it, is to make your drum set accessible for your kids. Kind of lowering the toms a little bit, lowering the cymbals, making the drum throne kind of accessible for a little kid. It's a big pain, and I know it can be a bit scary when you spend all this money on your drums to let someone just go and bash at it, but I know it means a lot to the kids, and yeah, I think that's a really good point to make. If you don't have a drum set right now, and maybe that's not in the budget or just not a possibility, just getting a practice pad and a pair of sticks for your kid is an amazing thing that you can do. I had a practice pad long before I had a drum set, and it allowed me to kind of build the facility needed, so when I did get a drum set, I wasn't starting from ground zero. I still use a practice pad almost every day to this day, and you can get a practice pad and a pair of sticks for kind of as cheap as 30 bucks, so I highly recommend doing that as well. And for my last point, I kind of touched on it on a previous video, but can't really stress the point enough that it's so great to get your kids out to kind of the drum clinics that are coming through town. A lot of time drummers will even put on kind of master classes, which tend to be kind of smaller group sizes, so you can kind of really go in depth. And there's music camps. I used to go to jazz camp, and that did amazing things for my playing and just kind of interacting with other musicians, as well as kind of festivals when they come to town. So just checking out what's coming through and what you can afford and what you think your kid would be into. I know those were huge things in my life, and very fortunate to be able to do some of those things. And yeah, so I thought that was a good point to make. So these are just a few ways that I kind of thought of how I was kind of supported in my passion to play the drums, and I'm sure tons of you have a bunch of other ways that kind of helped you along in your journey. So we'd love to hear about those down in the comments below, because I think that would help everybody out. Thanks again. See y'all later.